Democratic governor. And we just got, I'm a mom.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I am newly awakened to everything. It started in March, so I'm a little bit seasoned. I've come to terms with everything. And I'm a mom and I'm a teacher. And I felt like I needed to connect with Carol when I heard her talking about the schools. So she agreed to put this together just to talk about the schools, and I'm so grateful. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
Hello,
it's going
Natasha.
Hello.
Hiya.
Great to see you. What is that you're wearing? It looks lovely.
This?
No, yes, your necklace.
It's called a Blue John.
Okay.
Thank you. It's from a mine in Derbyshire, and it's the only place they do them apparently. Thank you.
Okay. So it's
lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you as well. It's great to see everyone. I'm so delighted that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. So there's a couple of things I wanted to start with. We are live, Natasha, as well. We're live on Facebook now. So
perfect.
And we're going to be, hi to everyone that's watching. We're going to be talking about the school system. Excuse me, but let me just introduce Paula Connor, an amazing woman, an owner and founder of Elevate Me, a heart math therapist and a StarSeed. Carissa Roe, a teacher, a mother, homeschool education facilitator. Victoria Grimstead wasn't able to be with us today, so hopefully she'll be able to join us again, maybe in a follow-up or another discussion. And Natasha Aylott, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And thank you, Natasha. And she's the founder of Get Blissed, self-mastery therapist, self-empowerment coach, stress buster facilitator, public speaker, and author of Blissed. So welcome everyone. There's just something I want to share with you quickly before we actually start the discussion. So my ultimate dream, one of them, is to have a spiritual center, and I think it's a perfect time now for us to focus on this. So I'm putting a team together. The vision is to create a spiritual center, retreat center, and spiritual community using the Earthship's model plan designs, Earthship model plans designs, and using natural resources, materials where possible, and recyclable materials. These beautiful homes are virtually cost-free once built, free from electricity and water bills, etc. Ideally, we're thinking about 20 homes to begin with, ideally. If you'd like to donate, please go to my website, thepleiadianchild.com. If you'd like to donate your services, if you'd like to volunteer, if you'd like to help to bring us to help to bring this into reality with us, or if you have land you'd like to donate, or if you'd like to be part of the team, my email is thepleiadianchild.com, and also all proceeds from my book will go towards this from now on. So if you'd like to get a copy of my book, it's on amazon.com, and it's The Pleiadian Child. Okay, and also please join us on the Great Awakening of Humanity 2020 group on Facebook. Come like, subscribe, share on YouTube as well. And if you click the bell icon to get notifications of videos and interviews. So without any further ado, let's get the ball rolling. Let's get started. There's actually one more thing I wanted to read out. I'm so sorry. Okay, just because it's important. So, and this is to do with the school systems. And this, I think, Carissa had originally sent me a short message on Facebook saying that she had seen one of my talks and was really interested in the school systems, and well, she's a teacher as well. So I can't remember what your exact question was, Carissa. Could you remind us?
I think I just wanted to hear everything that all of your thoughts on the school system. I think what you said was it all starts with the school. We have to protect our children, and it all starts with the school. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. And I paused it. And then I sent you a message. Please, can we talk about the schools?
Okay. And when I saw your message, I just thought, you know, I need to follow up on this, because I get so many messages, and like you'll all know, Paula especially, and Natasha as well. You know, we get so many. We're inundated at the moment with the work that we're doing, which is why we're here. It's why we're here. So, so things have really stepped up for all of us, you know, in the spiritual fields, because we're now having to juggle a lot more than we were before the lockdown, because everything is kind of kicked off. So we're having to juggle several things, you know, all at once. Okay, so I'm just going to read this out. This is something that that came to me about the school systems. I mean, I've known it for a long time, but so anyway, so the school systems have been set up by the negative agenda, as all systems have. Now, the negative agenda is the cabal, the black cats, the negative ETs, the reptilians, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, that are running all systems on Earth at the moment, including the school systems, to control, manipulate, dumb down kids, to take away their own power and control, to have them to be forced into alignment of a follow mentality. It's cruel to put them into that system, knowing the negative agenda and what it's all about. It's just cruel. Bullying is also part of it, and has been part of the school system since it began. And what's more, it's designed to incorporate bullying into the school system and keep it there in place. That is why bullying has been there since school started and still continue to this day. Children have committed suicide over bullying, and yet it continues. They are being taught science and history that's vastly incorrect, false, and a lie. The truth is being kept hidden from us on a mass scale, and we are where we came. On a mass scale of who we are, where we came from, our history, our science is vastly untrue. We have been lied to on a mass scale, and it begins in the school system. That's why it's in place. Yes, children need to be educated. Absolutely, but we need to teach them about the following, and this is a long list, but it's not exclusive. There's many other things that could be added to this list. So we could be teaching them about the earth, plants, flowers, trees, wildlife, nature, their own family history, trees and their own ancestors, where they came from, food and how to grow it, how to cook, how to sew, how to connect with nature and plants and trees and animals, how to use their psychic abilities, astrology, the planets, stars, star systems, the sun, the moon, energy and how energy works, consciousness and how it works, love and how it works, being a frequency, a vibration, our real history, our true history, the earth's true history, the spiritual people in our history, ancient tribes, including gypsies or travelers, sacred people, how to hunt, gather, philosophy, how to read, how to write, how to speak, how to use their voice, how to use their throat chakras, how to tone them, how to get in touch with them, to say no when they want to or need to say yes when they want to or need to, creativity, art, to draw, color, sound, healing, crystals. The list is endless. Our real science, universal laws, natural laws that govern the universe, the law of one, that we are all connected, animals, nature, meditation, creativity, art, to use their voice, to sing, to dance, to learn, to love the earth, the power of the mind to create their own realities, teach them to shine, teach them to love themselves, to love each other, to believe in their own power, their own individuality, and that we are all connected, that we are all one. Teach them to believe in themselves and be the beautiful, divine, magnificent beings that they are, that we are, because they are all those things and more, and so are we. We can move mountains. Teach them at schools. Teach them at home schools, like the Rudolf Steiner schools, but most importantly, teach them love and how to be love to all things, especially themselves, and how to put themselves first and to say no when they need to say no. We live in a society that has cruelly taught us to always put others first, and that to put ourselves first is selfish, when in fact that is all about taking your own power away from us. When in fact that is all about taking our own power away from us. Putting others first and always saying yes is giving our power away. And it's time now to take back from all the systems that rule and govern us, including the school system, especially the school system, as this is where it starts at a young age, when minds and brains are the most impressionable and therefore more controllable, more manipulative, more manipulatable, more easily led, etc., etc. And it's cruel once you begin to realize the negative agenda. So thank you for listening to me. So yeah, that was something I just wanted to read out, because it's important, because the discussion today is on school systems. And also, just quickly, and one last thing, and then I'll shut up and let everyone speak. But one other thing is that I tried to go to my secondary school a few times, a handful of times, and I was always blocked. And I remember one particular day there was a wall of energy where I just couldn't enter the school system, and there was physically nothing there. And years later, the Pleiadians reminded me that they put that wall of energy there in front of me, and they said to me word for word, because otherwise you would have been lost to us. So I didn't have any secondary education. I had primary school, but then I stopped going, and then there was times I tried to go and I just wasn't able to. So what I would do instead is I would go home and meditate and read everything I could. I started reading esoteric books and meditating when I was about 12, when I was meant to be going to school. So anyway, enough with that. So who would like to start?
Wow, I'm happy to start if that's okay with everybody else.
Sure.
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me, and it's really beautiful to connect in this space. You know, the one series of conversations that you and I had actually on text without even speaking totally resonated with me. It was like we were completely on the same page. We didn't even have to speak, you know, face to face, because we just both knew that we were soul sisters, part of this amazing new awakening. And you know, education is something I've felt really passionate about for such a long time. I have 2 children in the education system. I know everything has divine timing, but I would like to just say, if I had known now what 10 years ago, what I know now, then my children never would have gone to school. So I really love the fact that you shared that you didn't go to secondary school, and that energetically you just knew there was a reason why you didn't go. So you educated yourself. And thus that's, you know, so freeing, so beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm from UK and I live in the Midlands. I'm very concerned. I didn't actually want my kids to go back to school, and they are just about to go into the second year of GCSEs, and then just about to start A-levels. Actually now, after this lockdown, I can honestly say I love having them around, and I really would not want them to ever go back to education. They both want to, so kind of because of their age, 14, nearly 15 and 16, I sort of have to take a step back and allow them to make choices for themselves. But if I had children who were preschool, there's no way that I would send them to school knowing everything that we now know. And certainly from my perspective, had a very very steep learning curve like that over the last 4 or 5 months.
Yes.
So yeah, education has been very concerning for me. And even, you know, maybe just hopping back for a second to my own experience. I'm an empath. I didn't have a clue. I was really unhappy at school. I didn't fit in with any groups or people. I always felt the odd one out. And I couldn't wait to leave school, actually. The system didn't really work for me. I was a very average student. And if I hadn't have been strong, I didn't know I was strong at the time, but if I hadn't have been strong and if I hadn't have been resilient, I could have easily, you know, fallen through the gaps, and goodness knows what would have happened to me, because we are judged on our results. So the straight A student, my mother being one of them, my niece being another one of them, you know, they sail through. I'm not saying they don't put in the work and the effort, because I know that they do, but they get through on the grades because they can regurgitate the information. Whereas somebody like me, I was really average at everything. And it was only when I left education, after my A levels, when I left college, that I got myself a job actually in a big American themed restaurant, TGI Fridays. It was the first one that came to the UK. And it was super, super exciting. I had the best time ever. I left home when I was 18. And so I felt, because my mother's amazing, but she was very controlling, very religious. So when I left home at 18 and had this experience of working full time in this incredible place, you know, where you arrived at work and we were singing, we were dancing and having a great time, I felt a massive sense of freedom, and as if the albatross had been lifted. So there was part of it that was at home, but most of it was in education. And I didn't realize that at the time, but looking back, I know for certain that when I was able to free myself, like you were sharing, you know, when you didn't go back to like the secondary education, it was then that I started realizing there's more. And I started to feel a sense of worth and sense of value for the first time. But then it wasn't until years later, when I was in my 40s, should we say, that I really started finding my own feet. While I was just in my 30s, I really started to discover who I was. And then for the last 14 years, it's, you know, I discovered spirituality, mindfulness, philosophy. I'd already studied psychology, but all of these things, and I had no idea that there was a world of personal development and spirituality out there. So I had to learn, thinking that I was the only person on the planet to learn it. So these new little star seeds that are coming in, you know, they already have the more advanced blueprints than we do. They're already prepared. They are already our teachers, which is why some of them are being defiant, or we see them as being defiant, because they're kind of saying, without actually saying it, listen, we know more than you. We're prepared for this world more than you are. But because they're not kind of ready for it, or don't understand how their gifts can be used, or what they're all about, they're almost grown up before their time. It's up to us to guide them. So this is a really important conversation, and certainly one that I want to continue to be part of, and in any way that I can help. I'm just saying, I will be here. I've mentored in high schools before, and run workshops in high schools, worked with 2 children's charities, and with experience with my own children as well. The support that's there is 3D, and it is not giving the children what they want or what they need. So we've got to introduce a whole different layer of support for children who are in education and struggling with it, and not just that, but struggling with life. So we've got to introduce, you know, a much more spiritual side to that, but also, you know, create and build a different form of education, like going outside. And I love the list that you gave. That was absolutely magnificent. And if I could add anything, it would just be how to build houses, sustainable houses, where, you know, we're tapping into source energy, Nikola Tesla's free, sustainable, safe energy for everybody. So actually that's something that I've been thinking about, dreaming about, getting excited about, and talking about for a few years now, without understanding where that's come from. But clearly it's just been given to me. So yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Natasha. That was beautiful. And so maybe we could incorporate that into our discussion today on, because Earthship's homes, once you build them, they're virtually free to run, and they're using natural resources and recyclable materials, which has a double kind of whammy, because they're using recycled materials. So these things aren't taught in schools. You know, the nature and growing food and growing herbs and growing plants, and everything is concrete now. I remember even my primary school was all concrete, you know, and there was a huge playground, which was concrete. So, okay, so thank you, Natasha. So who would like to go next? Paula, would you like to go next? And then Carissa will finish off with you, because not finish off, but then we'll start with you, because I know that you've got some things in the pipeline, possibly solutions.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Paula, we can hear you. Yeah.
So my internet can go in and out, so you'll just have to bear with me if it gets a little bit choppy, and then I'll do my best to start where I might have got cut off. So basically everything that you guys said, all of that, and then just to get a little bit more granular in the weeds, children need to be taught from the moment they arrive how perfect and loved they are by source. They have to know first and foremost who they truly are, that they are a divine creator being, spark of God, and they have to be taught with love and compassion from the beginning. And like you had shared, Natasha, in the greenhouse, in the fields, because as a little person only being 1 year old, what the current system does today is stifle their creativity. It destroys their imagination. And that is what actually creates the new earth, is our imagination. We call things into being through our open hearts, right? So if a little person is taught in the greenhouse how to care and how to love for a plant, and then they get to see the life blossom, right? And then that dovetails beautifully into nutrition, so they can grow the food. So this should be in our education system, learning in the greenhouse, in the fields, in the farms, learning about permaculture and ecosystems and how to create products that do not leave a footprint, no toxic footprint. And the fundamental number one human value that should be agreed upon throughout all of humanity is the same oath that medical doctors have to take. And that is do no harm. Number one, do no harm. So if you manufacture a product must do any harm. Add this, because this is three fundamental teachings that are actually available on our website, because as you had mentioned, we teach stress resilience, not only to first responders, obviously to the everyday individual as well, but how to manage stress and self-regulate and emotional intelligence. That should also be taught to children, to learn to go within for their own imagination. They turn away from the and they move to the
Sorry, love, can you just say that again, because you broke up?
Oh, what part did I, where did I?
I'm not even sure, because the words were drawn out.
Okay, but I don't even remember what was that? What did you hear fully last? And then I'll.
Okay, about children learning in the fields and the greenhouses and outside and connecting to source.
Yes, because we have to inspire their imaginations. Our education system today destroy imagine that they don't in with their way of learning anymore. It's all about the grade. We want it to be about the journey of learning, because it's a lifelong process, right? We don't need entertainment on the planet. We need everything to be geared towards education across the board. So here's what I wanted to share about three fundamentals. If we're an educator or a teacher, or teach parents in which children can learn the consequences of their choices safely without trying them in the real world. Then they'll understand how to align themselves with those choices. That's the first one. Number
Can you just
two.
read the first one again, Paula? I'm so sorry, but your internet is...
Okay. My internet is a bit wonky. As the lovely Kay says, Murphy is here. Murphy's Law, the internet, right? Hopefully this will come through clearly. Have the imagination and the wherewithal to create safe spaces in which children can learn the consequences of their choices safely without trying them out in the real world. They will understand how to align themselves with those choices. Did you guys hear that okay?
Beautiful.
Okay, number two. Teach them that they are as powerful as they need to be to create whatever they need in life without having to hurt themselves or anybody else in order to do so. And then three, as a teacher, educator, or parent, anything that you believe that is important for them to learn about being in physical reality on Earth, a lesson that you believe is important for them to learn, and adapt that lesson to their passion. Do not diminish their passion with the lesson. And I cannot lay claim that I came up with that lovely 3 tips. That is from our brother, fundamentals for. No, I'm not back. And I'm back. Am I back?
You're back.
It's like a little burp in the internet.
Yeah.
All education, everything, all of our problems can be solved with education, and we could do it the weekend. So I'm gonna digress a little bit left. If you look at the World Health Organization as an example, they have access to the greatest scientific and medical minds on the planet. Are you kidding me? See my point? We can figure this out in a weekend.
Yeah.
Roundtable discussion with a couple of smart scientists that are not bound by dogma. We could sort this out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And even with the children learning about plants and the love of life, the love of creation and nature, they'll learn about the importance of supporting the immune system, because it dovetails into everything. And what I was going to share also is with the whole Black Lives Matter piece, that whole challenge can be resolved with education. Because if every single individual on this planet, doesn't matter what color your skin is, what direction you pray, does not matter. One family, no location. That should be a given. That's a birthright, like fresh drinking water and nutritious food, shelter and clothing. And that's all I wanted to. I'll stop, because we could just go on and on and on, right? Like about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Paula. That was really beautiful, especially what you read out. Okay, Carissa, what would you like to share? What would you like to say? Would you like to bring to the table?
First of all, everything that all 3 of you said just resonates so deeply. And coming from not a mom, I have a kid. This is Figaro.
Hi, Figaro.
Not even coming from the mom perspective, and my daughter is she's 7, she's going into 2nd grade, but working in the school system, it's so hard, because we think that we're helping the children by working in the school, and I gravitate toward the kids who are having problems, and the special education kids, and the kids with behavioral disorders. And I think it's because deep down inside, I know that they're not getting the services that they need. The school is certainly not providing those services to anyone who thinks a little bit differently or learns a little bit differently. They're kind of just categorized as not following the line and kind of cast aside. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that I was drawn to those because now I see why. I think as someone who's working in the school system and you're just newly awakening, it's really hard to believe. For me, I believed it right away. It hit me right in the heart, and I thought, I need to do something else. And right away, I knew I needed to keep my daughter home. As a mom, I want to protect her. I want her abilities to flourish and certainly not to be stifled or damaged in any way. And I appreciate what you're saying so much. And I can't even communicate clearly because I'm so emotional right now.
Okay, so thank you, Carissa. Thank you. And thank you so much for posting that message. Because that inspired me into doing this, you know, into taking action, which I think is exactly what we need more of at the moment. We need to voice ourselves and send messages and get in touch with people and unite and bring each other together and rise each other up and motivate each other and bring that love and light energy. That's what's needed at the moment. And we need solutions as well. We need to stop focusing on what the problem is, because there's so many problems. Everything is wrong at the moment on Earth, everything. because all the systems are being run by cabal or Illuminati or negative agenda or negative ET energy. So whatever you want to call them.
Can I add? I want to just to add to that.
Yeah, go ahead, Paula.
So who you're referring to is just like for some folks who might think, oh my goodness, like what does she mean by all those? Basically, these are the globalists. These are the rich people that run everything and own everything and don't want anything to change. You know, if you look at pharmaceuticals, you will not make them any money if you are a very healthy individual and your immune system is perfectly attuned and your innate system, you're operating with intelligence with it. They don't make any money if people aren't sick, but not dead. They don't want you dead. They need you kind of like sick and in need of medication. And the same is true for the education system. They really want you to think enough to do as you're told and how to take orders, but not be a critical thinker.
Oh, yes.
Problem solver. And if we look at history just as an example, we know that history is always written by those who won, right? History is always going to favor those who won. But there was a fantastic book written by Neil Donald Walsh, and it was called, I think it was book 9, Conversations with God, or At Home with God and a Life That Never Ends. And in that book, they talked about critical thinking. And of course, we have in the United States right now an attempt to remove history, right? This is where wisdom comes into play. Wisdom is the experience of learning from past mistakes in history. So if you were to take a history class as an example right now, where children could look at all angles of a war, any war, all of them were unnecessary, but to have a look at a war and all sides, why it happened, and then have them, okay, now that you understand what happened here and here and here, what would you do different as a leader to ensure that your people came first, right? And going back to what Mr. Trump is doing in America right now, I am totally for make America great again, make the UK great again, make Canada great again, make the whole earth great again. And what I love about American made as a Canadian person, and I am going somewhere with this, I promise. What I love about American made is I know that it is built rock solid. rock solid. Made in America means it's built tough. It's going to last, right? And other country leaders would do very, very well to follow in his leadership footsteps by each country creating from their own resources. Again, this goes back to education. Create what you can with your own resources without leaving any kind of toxic footprint, and then trade your abundance with the rest of the world. If we all look after our family and then trade. Sorry, I went totally off on a tangent. I don't know why I even went there, but I did.
Sorry.
I'm stop talking.
It makes sense.
Yeah, don't be sorry, Paula. One quick thing I just want to add to that is that the supermarkets, they are full of, I don't think there's anything in the supermarkets or that is mass produced that isn't without toxins and chemicals and poisons in it. And you were saying the other day, Paula, that something has antifreeze in it. Is it a cookie mix or something has antifreeze?
It's actually, yeah, Quaker Oats muffin mix, oatmeal muffin mix. It's got propylene glycol in it, and that is, that's windscreen wash.
Just say that again, Paula, because I think
it has no business being in food.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yes, my internet.
That's just
yeah,
one item.
It's called propylene glycol, and it's in the Quaker Oats muffin mix, and it's antifreeze. It goes in your windscreen wash. Yeah. And fluoride, we all know that is an aluminum-based toxic chemical that they used to put in the water of the ranchers used to put it in the water for their herds so that the cattle would be calm. And yeah, it's basically a way that can, you know, why not put it in the water system and tell everybody it's good for their teeth, which is a crock of nonsense.
Yeah, which is why I really want to go with this vision now, because, you know, creating the spiritual center and the Earthships designs, you are able to grow your own. They've set it up and designed it where you're able to grow your own fruit and vegetables and herbs or whatever you want to grow in the house, actually in the house. So they have a little section for that. So yeah, I mean, you know, the supermarkets and the pharmaceutical companies, everything is set up to keep us as slaves, to keep us dumbed down, to keep us manipulated, to keep us
in need, relying upon the government. Because what would be a smart use of money with the government, in all honesty, would be funding and giving grants for people to grow their own food as much as they can in the small spaces that they can. So, you know, in Canada, there's, I think it's called Juice Plus or Dose Juice. And I just bought an indoor hydroponics, fully contained system to grow my own vegetables in water at home. So even if you have a smaller condo or whatever, that is the way to support your people, your culture, your society. Have people, they can grow their own, and then we can go to the grocery stores for top-ups perhaps, or stuff maybe that you can't get, you know, that's off season. But there's like, this has to be the people first. How do we best support the human population so that we can share? We're not meant here to come and make trying to like a Ferrari car. Like, okay, that's great, wonderful, good job, we can do that, but like, can we do better? We're meant to create beauty and solutions that help everybody, not, you know, just Canada, but the whole world.
Yeah. But we need to start
so
with
we can
ourselves.
thrive.
Yeah, and we need to start with ourselves. We need to start growing our own food and our own vegetables and herbs and everything. And I know we're getting off subject a little bit here, but it's all tied in. Everything is tied in to keep us dumbed down, to keep us enslaved, to keep us manipulated and controlled, and everything is kind of kicked off now with everything that's happening. Everything's kind of heightened at a heightened, it's just heightened. So why aren't schools growing? Why don't they have an area where they can grow their own vegetables and plants and herbs, and teach the children how this is how you do it. Well, they don't do it because they don't want the kids to know. They don't want kids to. I mean, I heard the most ridiculous thing the other day, or I saw it on Facebook where I can't even remember what it was, so I'm not going to say it, but yeah, I mean, kids don't know where the produce comes from, you know, where the meat comes from, where vegetables come from, where anything comes from. So what is the solution to changing the school systems? Because we do need to change it. We need to change everything, every system on earth at the moment, and that is changing. I never thought I would see this happen in my lifetime. I never knew that. I knew our mission and purpose, but I didn't know it was going to be an event. I thought it was just continuous out throughout my lifetime. So I think it's beautiful what's happening on earth at the moment. And I know it's, I know that some people watching or listening will find that hard to understand, but I do. I think it's absolutely beautiful what's happening, because it's a birthing process where everything is bubbling, or everything is a light has been shone on the negative, and they are to the point there are waves of people waking up en masse, wave after wave after wave after wave, and so the negative agenda or the globalists are no longer able to control us. That's ending. And one of the things the Pleiadians said to me was that this is the war has been going on for since time began, since the downfall of Atlantis. The war's been going on, and probably before that. But this is the last battle. This is it. This is why we're here. We're here to change systems on Earth. We're here to, we're the way showers, and we're here en masse. Whether we know that we're a starseed or not, we are starseeds. If we're working in this domain, we're standing up and we're having a voice and we're saying, this is not okay, this is not right. And we need something else to replace what we have at the moment, because what we have at the moment isn't working. And one rule that they work with, that the negative agenda works with, is divide and conquer. That's what they're working with. And they always use racism as one of the last cards to play out, or last plays. And that's what they're doing at the moment, especially in America with all the Black Lives Matter and all of that scenario, because it's all little plays going on all over the place. You know, you've got the vaccines, you've got 5G, you've got chemtrails, you've got BLM, you've got all different things going on. The COVID, not to forget the COVID, and you've got all things going on. So I've probably forgotten a number of things there, but so, and it's also a distraction. It's always a distraction. So I was asking myself the last couple of weeks, especially the last couple of days, what is it they're not wanting us to see? Because they always give us a distraction. Focus on this, look over here. So what is the distraction? What's really going on? Is there more? I mean,
all their crimes. It's all their crimes. They've been ripping off humanity for years. Basically, all the globalists, the elite, the richy rich elites, are using street level crime to, do their bidding. And then, like, just to go back to the whole children thing too, right? Like, we have to remember that these are our future gentlemen. When you raise a boy, a son, he is going to be a gentleman when he grows up into a man. And those are the values that we want to instill. Like, these are our future leaders, our innovators, our CEOs, our headmistresses and masters, and teachers, midwives, Abdullahs, right? These are all, we want to teach them from very young to grow into these brilliant adults that can turn, like, hello, think about this for 1 second. The planet's adults are profiting from teaching the children. That's insane. That's insane. We're
not
making
to mention
money.
healthcare.
Pardon?
It's it.
not to mention the childcare. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Paula. Go on. And then Natasha, you had something to say as well. But go on, Paula. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. There's just a delay with the internet. Sometimes that happens. No, I was done. It was just really about, we're teaching the children to become the women when they grow up, a young daughter, women, and to have respect for the bodies. Have respect that your physical body is sacred. And you don't want to just give it away to any old boy that will chat you up and tell you how pretty you are and how smart you are and all that kind of stuff, right? Best thing my mom ever taught me. This is sacred. Sacred. Don't give it away. And I'm going to stop now. Go ahead.
I love that. Thank you, Paula. I love that. And I have to just say, Paula, it is a joy. When I saw your face, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Paula. I've been listening to your Divine Feminine Roundtables with Magenta. We've been doing our own Divine Feminines as well. And it's so it's a beautiful pleasure to meet you. So you are a treat that I wasn't expecting. So lovely to actually connect properly with you. Firstly, thank you so much. And isn't it beautiful how we're all coming together in our beautiful soul family? Something that you said, Carol, with regards to what are they distracting us from, and what came up really loud and clear for me when you were speaking was they are trying to distract us, as well as everything that we've all mentioned, is they're trying to distract us from our ultimate power. You know, we are, I mean, I'm going goosey all over as I'm speaking, but when we're born, you know, we had no idea who we were. And it's really only in the last 5 years that I've had this steep learning curve, that now I'm, you know, starting to learn about really who I am and, you know, what my gifts are and everything else. And the more you sort of find out about yourself, the more you can discover, you know, what you're here to do, who you really are. And, you know, I love what Paula was saying about your body being sacred. You know, the big concern that I've had the last few years working with schools in particular is seeing all these girls and they don't respect themselves, they don't love themselves, they want to change things about themselves. And it really saddens me, because when you say to you, look in a mirror, I teach about self-love and self-care and mirror work, and carry on the work that Louise Hay, our beautiful Louise Hay's done, and Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and all of these other incredible, you know, spiritual leaders. But when you say, I'm not enough, or I shouldn't look like this, or I don't like that about myself, you're actually, it's very arrogant as well as being foolish, because what you're saying is, you're saying to the creator, whoever you believe that to be, is actually, you got it wrong with me. So when you learn to look at yourself and tell yourself, you know, I love you, I really love you. And by the way, mirror work isn't easy, and it's all about education, right? The first time I looked in the mirror and said, Natasha, I love you, I really love you, I actually burst out crying, which showed me, and this is what happens to all of us when we start this work, is how connected we have become from ourselves. So, you know, we look outside of ourselves for fulfillment. We look outside of ourselves for validation, and we compare ourselves to other people. You know, children, young girls are going with their parents even, and this is quite shocking, to the plastic surgeon and say, look at this magazine, I want to look like this person, or I want to look like this person. And I'm horrified. I mean, your body is sacred. You are a beautiful, divine, sovereign child of the universe. Why would you want to change anything about you? You know, the fact is, you only have to look around you to understand that we are unique, we are one-off, we are limited editions, we are literally the limited edition. So why would you want to change anything about yourself? Why would you want to be a different shade of beige when you're designed and made to stand out and to have your voice and to be that maverick and to be that, you know, bright light in the world that's different to everybody else? So when you come together collectively, like you were saying, Carol, about, and I love that, you know, coming together and everybody has a different skill, and celebrating that and saying, you know, if you're good at doing, you know, garden work and building buildings, then build the buildings. If you're good at doing the irrigation, then do the irrigation. If you're good at planting seeds, then plant seeds. If you're good at making clothes, make clothes. If you're good at inspiring and empowering other people, you do that. If you're good at climbing trees, teach the kids to climb trees. You know, so collectively we've got to come together, got to love each other. We've got to put aside our differences. We've got to lay our ego down like a hat and say, we don't need you right now, and really, you know, come together and say we are all beautiful beings and we all look different, sound different, because we're meant to.
Yeah. And one thing I just wanted to add there as well was that so they've got us by the short and curlies, because they have I couldn't think of anything else. They've got us in a dream spell where they've taught us, programmed us to believe that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not thin enough, we don't have the right shape bodies, our boobs are wrong, our asses are wrong, our feet are too big, we're wrong as women when we don't match the what we're being shown women look like. And I've seen these, and I've seen these things being advertised on Facebook recently, where you put it on your face here, and it all taps everything back, and so it changes your face shape. You know, if you've got a double chin like me, that will get rid of that. But so they're selling us products. They're selling us things which makes them money, and it takes away our own power, takes away our own connection to source. It takes away everything. It kind of gradually puts us in a dream spell, which has been the plan from the beginning, and it's done that since it's been in control, gradually dumbing us down, and now it's a wave of energy, a wave of tsunami, where they can no longer control us, they can no longer manipulate us, they can no longer have control of us, because humanity is waking up on a mass scale, and it's happening gradually. So there's waves of people waking up. But yeah, I just wanted to jump in there and say that these products, you know, I mean, I myself I've bought the products, you know, and even recently I bought one of them, and I thought it was complete shit, and I paid something like $20 for it or something, because it was from America. It was from, so, and I've chucked it away. But even myself, like, I'm still buying into some of it, because I only bought this a couple of weeks ago, because and it's our perception of each other and our perception of ourselves that we're not good enough. So anyway, I'm going to shut up there. And Carissa, would you like to jump in there?
Sure. I hope that I'm more articulate this time. I was thinking of a few things while you were talking. One thing that I thought of is that I know from working in the school, there's a lot of teachers who have been trying to introduce some mindfulness or taking like yoga breaks with their class, and they've gotten rid of the desks in their class and offer pillows and yoga balls and flexible seating for their students. And that's kind of been a trend here in the US for the past few years. And I just thought of it because I wanted to share with you that was the first thing that the principal got rid of for next year. No flexible seating. They've gone back to the desks. There no pillows, no stuffed animals, no like items of comfort are going to be allowed in the schools. And it's all kind of, you know, I'm going to homeschool. Obviously, I have to make the change. I have to help other moms, I think, who are feeling like they also don't want to send their kids back. And even if they're not awakened, they just don't want their child wearing a mask to school. But just now that my eyes are opened, I see these little things. And I see they're taking away the flexible seating. It's not because they need the classroom to be clean. They're taking away yoga. They're taking away the mindfulness.
They're taking away anything.
They're taking away the love, I think.
Exactly. They're taking away the love and anything that will help us to raise our consciousness, because our consciousness is naturally raising. I mean, this is an incredible time on earth where we're waking up en masse, and that's what they're trying to stop. So they're trying to keep us at home. They're trying to disconnect us, keep us disconnected from each other, because by connecting with each other, connecting with our families, even with strangers at the bus stop, it does something to us. It sparks us into awareness, into raising our consciousness. So that is why they're keeping us at distance. They're keeping us out of the sunshine. There's so many things that they're doing. They're keeping us masked.
Yeah.
No, I want to encourage you to let's change that language. They're not keeping us masks. They are not going to take away our humanness. They are not going to take away our ability to have a relationship with source or each other. They can try, but it ain't going to work because there's nothing more powerful than source. So I didn't mean to go off, Carol, but those are the things that they're attempting to do to stifle and take away that ability for us to bloom properly. They can't do it because it's already been decided. Humanity has already decided at a higher level that we will no longer agree to lies. And so nobody gets to stay asleep. You know, there's lots of people that had decades, an opportunity to wake up over decades. Now the Band-Aid's coming off. We're ripping it off. You don't get to stay asleep. Because if we stay asleep, we allow people in positions of power to mistreat other human beings. And we, as starseeds, as those of love, those that are for love, not anti-love, right? Ego mind is heartless. When you bring in the heart, this is love. Love, all are welcome. You don't have the garden, one oak leaf complaining to the maple leaf that it doesn't look the same, right? We celebrate the diversity in nature as we need to do that in humanness too. We are perfectly imperfect, and everybody has a skill and an ability, and every child has a way that they learn. Yeah. But we have to keep the light in their eyes, inspired, so that life is a wonder. It's like, oh my God, Mom, this happened today. This happened, that happened. We want them to be excited and in wonder, as we should be too as adults. We never stop learning. We never stop learning, right? It's all about what do we have in common? Where are we really connected? Not the little things that don't matter, right? Because what we're seeing in the world right now is an attempt. There seems to be a push to, I want to hear my opinion coming out of your mouth, right? Which is nonsense. An opinion is an idea. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, right? Sorry, I went off again in a tangent.
I love it.
No, you're not. Because I will not. I will not wear a mask. I have love it. They told me I can't get my hair done. I have to wear a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm sorry, I will not.
Amen, sister. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And I just wanted to bring up one thing, and then Carissa, will go back to you, darling, because I know that you've come up with some solutions for homeschooling. So, and I really think that's the way to go. You know, I don't have children, but if I ever do get the chance to have kids, I would never homeschool them. I would never send them to school. I would homeschool them. So, because I understand, I see the bigger picture, that it's negative agenda, whoever you want to call it, there's several names for them, are running the show. And but that is changing now. So so I've gone brain freeze, mind blank. So
can I just say, sorry, absolutely, the structures, the matrix machines, all of the old structures are crumbling. They absolutely had to, because they're not sustainable. They do not serve humanity at all. And just like when you have to change something, you look at a garden. Yeah, when you want to create a beautiful landscape garden, or a garden full of flowers and trees and vegetables and salad and fruit trees and everything, then what has to happen first before you can create that is there has to be chaos. You have to get the bulldozer in. You have to turn the soil. And this is what we're experiencing right now on a global scale. So, you know, we cannot expect for us to smoothly sail through it, because the ground needs to be turned over. The matrix structures and the machines need to crumble and be brought to their knees. And it's our job as light workers, as way showers, as starseeds, to, you know, hold the space. And the higher we can raise our own vibrational frequency to hold space for ourselves, our families, our communities, and essentially society, the smoother the ride will be for everybody. And, you know, and the quicker this whole process will go through. And I do believe that this is our time now. There is no going back. There is so much fear, because, you know, they are terrified that people are going to wake up, that love is going to roll out. I mean, ultimately, I teach unconditional love, universal love, but it's in, you know, it doesn't begin there. It begins with de-stressing, self-love, self-care, how to get from where you are to where you want to be, being that bridge, eliminating your limiting beliefs and standing in your own power, seeing yourself for who you are. And I think that, you know, part and parcel of this is reconnecting. You know, we've been forced in our home. All of everything they're doing is actually melting away, because they forced us in our home, which has given us time. And I've done loads and loads of lives on my Get Blissed page about this. Over 60 days, I did 60 at the beginning of lockdown. We're being forced into our homes. Many of us haven't been able to work, or being furloughed, or, you know, can't go into work. So we've got more time on our hands, which is giving us the opportunity to really think about, okay, so maybe I didn't like my job. Maybe I won't go back. Maybe I didn't like my relationship. Maybe it's time to end. Or maybe I really love my relationship and I'm going to put everything into it to make it work. And our skills of telepathy are rising. And if you look at the work of David Hawkins, the map of consciousness, which I love to quote, you work through the vibrational scales. You raise your own vibrational frequency to love, say, for example, love, which on his scale is 500. And when a person vibrates at love for 51% of the day or more at love, that one person has a positive impact on 750,000 people. So all our job is to raise our frequency, shine our light, send that love, which is energy, all over the planet. It's going into the crystalline grid as we speak. Every positive emotion, people can feel it. We're dropping little seeds everywhere so that they'll grow into their own oak trees. And, you know, so it has to. So I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to add that, because there's massive hope and there's massive growth, and absolutely we're solutions orientated and focusing on the positive and focusing on what can we do, how can we help, how can we collaborate, setting up our little pods of 8 to 10 people, bartering between us, buying from local businesses, family run businesses, small businesses, and then how can we connect with other little pods, and then how can we, you know, connect with other little pods, and then grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and then just do business with ourselves, so that, you know, we are not buying, we are unplugging from the big pharma, we are unplugging from the old financial and economic structures and the big organizations and the big supermarkets. We're unplugging from all of that, because if every single person took £100 out of the bank on the same day, the whole banking system would come crashing down. So each and every one of us, even though there's just the one of us, when we collectively,
can you just say that again about taking £100 out every day? Okay,
yeah. So I heard this, I don't know when or where, I can't remember, but it really stuck in my mind. And this was in the last sort of 6 months. If each and every one of us took £100 cash out of our bank on the same day or within a couple of days, then the whole banking structure would literally collapse and crumble. They rely on us. You know, we are so much more powerful, and we have been made to feel small. Oh, you have to rely on this, you have to rely on that. Oh, you can't have any money out of the bank. We've been dumbed down, and I was dumbed down at school, but not anymore. And can I just say that I hit a wall. I was running an optical wholesale company. I had staff, I was bringing up children, I was running a home. I was unhappy, I was ill, had headaches 24/7. Everything came crashing down. I went to the doctor. He said, "Oh, Mrs. Aylott, you've got arthritis. Go and live in a hot country." That was when I went, stop. And that's when I started learning and teaching myself. And 3 years later, the same GP tested my bloods, and he said, "You're the healthiest girl in Alfchurch," which is a village I lived in. And the reason he found that I was healthy and there was no evidence of arthritis is because during that 3 years, I researched everything. I read everything. I went to my craniosacral therapist, my reflexologist. I stopped eating beef and pork. I came off loads of processed food. I cut out loads of different things out of my diet. And ever since then, 14 years ago, I have not taken any pharmaceutical medication, not even a paracetamol at all. And I'm super healthy. I call myself a little bit of a witch doctor because I go in the garden, I pick herbs every day. I eat fresh parsley, fresh sage, fresh mint, fresh rosemary, and I just eat it fresh. We grow stuff in the garden. I pick the lettuce, I stuff it in my mouth. The pak choi, I stuff it in my mouth. I'm eating cabbage, anything that we can grow, I'm eating it. And I just want to encourage people to do that on a small scale than a big scale. And super greens, you know, you were saying about that you can literally buy this stuff and have little things in your own home, and everybody can do a little bit of something. And then if you've got chickens, we've got chickens. If you've got chickens and you have eggs and somebody else has got a herb garden, swap, exchange. If somebody can make clothes and somebody else can dig gardens, swap, exchange. If somebody else can do the meditation and help you healing, and somebody else is really good at baking, swap, exchange. So, you know, this is my dream, and I know it's completely aligned with everybody here. And I love getting ideas. I've even started writing an Ascension handbook for all of the leaders of the pods to literally, because we've got to share this, you know, we've got to put competition to one side, because actually the real meaning of competition, when you go way back at its inception, is collaboration. And it's the dark, deep forces, deep state, cabal, 1% elite, who have changed the meaning of our beautiful words. And I'm a wordsmith, so your words are powerful. They come from spellings. Spellings come from spells. When you cast a spell, it's set in stone. So be mindful of your thoughts, be mindful of your words. You know, we can empower ourselves and set the intention just by changing the words, our thoughts, our intention, and staying really present in the moment and saying, what can we do for each other? What can we do for ourselves? How can we contribute? How can we empower each other? How can we inspire each other to create this beautiful world? Because you've only got to look outside. And I don't know if I could show you, but I look outside my window and I go, how on earth did I create this reality for myself? Because I didn't even know that was a thing. So if I can do that unconsciously, just think what I can do, and everybody can do consciously, right? So I'm actually really excited that this is the trigger. Someone's pressed the reset button. And yes, it's scared a lot of people. Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of lives, but most of the lives we've lost are through to fear and suicide. They're not through to this virus. We've got viruses and bacteria in our body. You know, listen to Dr. Zach Bush. Listen to Dr. Rashid Bittar. These are incredible, beautiful, amazing doctors who are telling us the answers, who are, you know, gently guiding us to where we need to go to. And when you wear your mask, it is self-humiliation. If you go back in history, you put a mask over yourself, that is self-humiliation. Do not do it. You're breathing in the toxins, you're breathing in the carbon dioxide, you're stopping yourself getting oxygen, which is your birthright. And, you know, you're breathing in the plastic that's in the horrible masks anyway. Sorry, I know I'm gone off on one now, but I'm just so passionate about all this and getting together with beautiful soul sisters to, you know, to help and contribute and make a difference. I'm loving it. I'm so excited about it. And I'm sorry, it's your turn.
No, it's I think it's Carissa next, but I totally get, and I get what you're saying now about us using the same mannerisms and saying the same things. I totally get what you're saying now. Word for word, you know, you were saying, and I think that's because so many of us are doing that at the moment. We're saying the same things. We're even using the same words and you know, saying the same things and explaining the same things. And it's because we can see it. We're in the love energy. And the light has been shone for us, where we're able to see through the fake news and all of it. We're able to see through the fakeness of what we're being shown is reality, and the news and all of it. So I mean, many of us are saying the same thing, and more of us are just, you know, adding being added to the wave, or adding themselves to the wave of consciousness that's raising and raising and raising and raising. And so there's one quick question I want to throw out there, and then I'll hand it over to Carissa, because we need to, well, before that, I just want to say that we need to find solutions to school systems and education. So one is homeschooling, or schools like Rudolf Steiner. So Carissa maybe can talk about a bit more about that, because I think she's setting up something there. But we're in the UK at the moment. I wanted to go and go and visit someone the other day, and I don't want to wear a mask, but that's the only way I can get there, is if I travel. I need to wear a mask, and I don't drive. So how am I going to go and do this without wearing a mask? Because they won't let me travel. You're not allowed in the coach station even to buy a ticket without a mask on. So what is the option there? Paula, anyone?
Oh, you could raise your vibration so high that you then become invisible to the 3D environment, and then you can literally travel however you want.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Asking me, Carol, because I'm civilly disobedient. I will not wear one.
Mm-hmm.
Because so this is just for me, right? Everybody is free will. Do whatever you need to do to live your life, and so I honor that. For me, though, my personal choice is I will not wear one, because it symbolizes or signifies that when I need to get one of my needs met, then I have to succumb to a rule that they have no right to impart. Nobody has any right to make you wear a piece of clothing. And I'm sorry, it's a crock of shit. I'm sorry. This whole kung flu, whatever the heck it is, it's a crock of shit, because I believe that I am one with Earth. I am one with Source. I am one with God. God is the sky, the air I breathe, every skin, my teeth. God is even the flu. And there's nothing. So I don't think it's fair, Carol, to ask me, because you have to travel and you've got to do you know what I mean? And in the UK, it's different than in Canada. Right? Like it's there are a couple of stores that won't let you in. And if they tell me I have to wear a mask, then I'm like, no, I'm not shopping at your store then. I'm not going in. I won't. So it's, that's a tough one. But just for me, I won't, hence the reason why I've got like a really bad hairdo, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's time to go natural. Let this gray that's beautifully forming to highlight my hair, and maybe find some natural stuff. Nirvana in South Africa sent me this natural purple dye. I can see, Carissa, you've got some purple in your hair, which is awesome. Yeah, I said to people here, you can put me in jail. I'm not wearing one. I will not. Screw you.
Can I say something quickly?
You know what? It's like you're gonna faith first, and then all of a sudden we're wearing headscarves. Yeah, mandate what I put on my body.
Yeah. And also the health stuff. There's the health reasons as well, because it stops you breathing. It stops you from getting oxygen.
You're activating your own bacteria. If this is a respiratory thing, if there is a breathing issue, the first thing you don't do is impede the breath. Like you don't.
Yeah. I saw a thing the other day, Paula. I'm so sorry to interrupt you there. I saw a thing the other day where there was someone, it was a governor or a mayor or someone in America or Canada, I'm not sure which, but they were saying, and it was a black guy saying that the black people didn't need to wear masks. It was just the white people that needed to wear masks. When I saw this, I thought, my God, you know, but I even saw value in that. And because because you've got a black guy coming out saying that you don't need to wear a mask if you're black. And I saw value in that because it's shining a light on the fact that it's BS. It's shining a light on the fact that it's BS. I mean, I won't wear a mask, but I just wanted to pose the question of what you do in that situation. So it looks like I'm not going to be going anywhere for a while because I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to be vaccinated. I'm not going to be dictated to. Anyway, I need to shut up. You know.
Can I say something?
I might be tempted to have some fun with it and say, no, I've already got it on. I've got my immunity mask on that God gave me. So I'm sorry you can't see it, but it works very effectively for me. You can see I'm really healthy.
Yeah. 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 And
So,
but that just goes to show that exactly there where you've got a governor, and I think it was Atlanta, I'm not sure, but where they're saying that melanin, that's what defines the shading of your skin.
Yeah,
so we have a population with a little more melanin and they don't need to wear a mask. Okay, this has nothing to do with the flu. This has everything to do with the election. Everything to do with the election, because those same globalists that own everything and run everything know that Mr. Trump are taking away their money laundering. Their money's being taken away. So it doesn't benefit them for Mr. Trump to stay in office any longer. And I'm sorry to tell the truth and to get, but this is.
Don't be sorry, Paula.
No, that's okay. This is to do with an election. It has nothing to do with the other. But Carissa, you had some schooling that you wanted to share.
what did I want to share? I don't know. I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
I did not go to the hairdresser. My friend did my hair. It was lovely. We didn't wear masks. She put some purple in this morning. She did it at her house. If you were closer, I'd invite you. We're in New Jersey. I don't know how close you are. I think that this whole pandemic, fake coronavirus, it was a gift. It was truly a gift to sit us in our house and awaken some of us and give us time. Everyone was going to Home Depot. I take walks in my neighborhood. The neighborhood has never looked better. Everyone's planting flowers and spending time with their family. Our town looks like it's from the 50s. People are walking and riding their bikes, and neighbors are speaking to each other. My neighbor hides marbles in his flower bed for my daughter to dig up and find. So some people are really truly scared of this virus that's happening. I went to a birthday party yesterday and there was very few people there. And I thought, where are all the people? Well, they were at home afraid of the virus. We were at the park having a great time in the sun. I just don't get it. But Carol, I have taken here in the States, they tell you have to wear a mask everywhere. But there's no guidelines for the mask, right? They're not saying you have to wear an N95 to filter anything. They're saying a bandana is just as good as a surgical mask. Just put something over your face and you can leave. So I have started wearing the most ridiculous things you can find because, to be honest, the mask isn't helping anyone, it's hurting yourself, right? So I would suggest for you to be able to travel, wear one of those like headband things and you can just pull it over your nose and mouth. They're saying that will magically protect you, a headband. And if that's okay to wear, that helps me, I think, to know that it's fake almost. It helps me mentally to no, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm wearing my boho headband and I'm playing their game so that I can buy my milk and get out of this store. And maybe that could help you too. I'm playing their game so I can get on the bus and get to where I need to go. But certainly I wouldn't suggest one of those like plastic face protectors or something, which our school district let us know today that would be better for the kids, that if they couldn't keep masks on, they were going to put plastic shields up. I'm done now. I'm sorry.
Well,
Wow.
Paula has to go soon. So Paula, where can people find you?
I'm sorry. I do have to go, and it's been lovely. I hope I'm not cutting the chat short or anything, but you can find me at elevatemehub.com. That's elevatemehub.com. That's the website. And there's a contact inquiry form in there on how you can reach us. As I say, we have a team of heart math trainers and coaches. We basically teach stress resilience, emotional intelligence, and self-reg. But the real magic behind what we teach is we keep people connected through their heart to source. So if people want to have a relationship to the point that they can feel it in their being, that's essentially what we teach. So you can find me there, or Paula at elevatemehub.com as well. So it's been a real pleasure chatting with you. I'm just looking at an hour and a half. As I say, we've been on, it felt like 5 minutes. And I really enjoyed chatting with you. And I'm gonna drop off now. And so thank you so much, Carol. We'll be back in touch again. Ladies, pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
I think that, the thing is probably going to be the way that we start is you'll have a community of mothers and they will provide the teaching for the children to ensure that they have the best opportunity. But we also have to remember too, that when we shift in octaves later this year, I think the access that we'll have to information to create the new infrastructures to replace all these old systems will be divinely provided for all of those that want to get and create something that's beautiful and magical. So thank you, ladies, so much. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Paula, so much.
Take care. Okay, thank you. Bye.
See you again soon. We can continue, ladies. So so let's continue. Carissa, I really want to hear more from you. Looking at solutions and how we can homeschool. Can you go? Do you have anything you'd like to share with us about homeschooling?
Well, no, I'm just learning. I'm just connecting with some other moms, and I'm learning that there's many different ways, because initially the first thing you think is, I have to work, I can't homeschool. But I think that there's ways around it where there's a will. You can make anything happen, right? If you want it badly. And I think that for me, what I can offer to my friends who need to work is I can educate their kids in exchange for something. My hairdresser's daughter, my friend's daughter, it doesn't have to be a tuition based or a monetarily based homeschool. We can help each other in our community. And I think a big concern that people always have with homeschooling is the socialization aspect. But I'm learning that there are communities where a bunch of different homeschooling families, we can all get together and maybe take a field trip or do something in collaboration with each other. So I think that I said earlier, coronavirus was a gift, and I think it is. I think homeschooling, those people who thought that parents who homeschooled their children before were wacky or weirdos, they're now seeing that those people are not wacky or weirdos. they're doing it for, maybe it's not the same reason I'm doing it or you're doing it, but they're doing it for a reason that is valid to their family. And more people are going to begin, I think, to see, whether they see it clearly or just in their heart, kind of how I started feeling that maybe something was wrong with the school system. I think more people are going to start homeschooling. So my dream is eventually to facilitate some kind of, not a homeschool, but like a collaborative school, and not like Hogwarts, but like focusing on developing our children's spirituality. And instead of putting them in detention for misbehaving, why don't we teach them how to meditate? And these are just ideas in my head right now, but I'm hoping that within the next few years that they're going to come through to fruition.
That's great, Carissa. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And Natasha, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, love that. Thank you. And what's wrong with Hogwarts?
No, I'm not magical.
We're all
magical.
We're all magical. I do believe that we've all got super skills, super talents, and super gifts. And what, you know, and it's the children that are coming through who are, you know, we're putting them in, we as in, you know, societies, putting them in these categories, that they have the superpowers. We actually need to pay attention to them. And if you know, and because they're the ones that are kind of showing the way. They don't fit into the boxes. Well, actually, none of us are meant to fit in the boxes, or you can't fit a round peg in a square hole, because it doesn't work that way. And when you look at a child, you mentioned a child that, you know, you're talking about like punishments or discipline or whatever. Well, if someone doesn't want to do something, a child, how about opening the forum and saying, okay, so you didn't do your homework last night and you decided to do something else. What was it that that you decide? Why didn't you want to do your homework? So open the conversation without judgment and find out, and then say, okay, what was it you chose to do instead? Because they might say, well, actually, I went into the garden and I found some wood and I made a chair or I made a table, in which case that could be turned into a real positive. Wow, that's incredible. So does anybody else ever feel like they don't want to do this homework, and why? And what would you rather be doing instead? So rather than punishing, open it up and say, you know, we are creative beings because we are, and saying, you know, how can we, you know, don't punish them for making a mistake. Because if you look at, oh my God, if you look at people, really successful people, entrepreneurs, they have failed and failed and failed to find the solution. The guy that made the light bulb, how many times did he find out how not to make a light bulb? Was it 1,000? So, but he didn't fail as such. He just found different ways not to do it, which encouraged him to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. There is no one way to do something. You know, if you can't, you walk along the road, you come to a big boulder, you don't just stop and give up and go back. You go, okay, so how do I, if I haven't got my laser gun to explode this boulder into smithereens so that I can literally walk through the little bits, then how can I do it? Do I climb over it? Would that be fun? Do I go around it? Would that be fun? How do I get around it? Am I really strong? Can I move it? You know, how do you do it? So it's looking for ways of solutions, really solution driven and creative driven, and all of these things. And I have a lot of friends who actually took their children out of first school because they were so upset with the way the education system was. Now, I wish I'd paid more attention to what my son was going through at the time, because I can honestly say that the first school, the person who ran the first school would have been much better suited running a prison rather than a first school. And so many children fell by the wayside and were made to feel less than they were. And unfortunately, we as parents got caught up in it, and we were supporting the school rather than listening to our child. Shortly afterwards, I started paying attention and I started listening to my child. And when he went to middle school, oh my gosh, which actually ironically was on the same campus. It was like moving from chalk to cheese. The head teacher, he was, oh my gosh, and still is the most incredible man I've ever come across. He loved children. He wanted to give them opportunities. He encouraged them. He looked outside the box. He gave my son the opportunity to play chess in his office in break time. He played chess with him. And I said to my son, you make sure that before you leave that school, you beat him at chess, because he was a county champion. And he did beat him in the last year before he left. And he was just an amazing head teacher. And all the teachers, because he was a leader, all of the teachers who were the teachers in his school, they were also incredible. They looked outside the box. They were a bit quirky. They were a bit different. You know, when my child was saying things that perhaps were slightly a little bit out there, they would turn it into a joke and you know, say to him, maybe next time, quietly they said to him, maybe next time you could put it like this. But they said, well, nice one, thinking outside of the box. You know, my son went outside in the garden one summer and he built a trebuchet out of his imagination that was about 15 foot tall, that worked. And then he just kept trying it, and the string wasn't long enough or tight enough or strong enough, and this bit of wood wasn't working, so he used this bit of wood, and he kept trying. He's got a very long garden, and we're not overlooked. It was just playing fields and farmers' fields, so he wasn't harming anything, and he just kept doing it. And so nobody was telling him how not to do it. He was finding ways how to do it. And then he would improve on it and do something else. You know, this is what our children, and my son isn't an exception. We all have these gifts. So it's to encourage our children and inspire them and help them with their imagination to look outside the box. And actually, I know Carol mentioned about not being able to grow things at school, but in that school that my children went to, they both left there now, but there were, they did build beautiful sort of like, what do you call them? Like food boxes for vegetables, and, you know, beds to you know, with sleepers. They actually built them, and they planted seeds, and they grew vegetables, and they grew strawberries, and they grew raspberries. I don't know if they're still doing that, but that definitely is a way forward. And what we're doing in our village, which was set up by a dear, beautiful soul brother of mine, is called the Incredible Edibles. So this is within a village and claiming a little bit of land. So it was just outside of our few shops, building these sort of structures, if you like, flower beds, vegetable beds, and several of them volunteered to build them, put good soil in, and to grow strawberries, herbs, lettuces, cabbages, fruits, and then put the sign up, Incredible Edibles, for anybody who wanted to go to them and pick them and eat them or take them home. So you can literally go pick some mint leaves, take them home and make yourself a cup of mint tea. You can go take some leaves off the cabbage, take them home, cut them up and eat them. And people were just leaving them, and I was seeing these, so I thought, right, I'm going to just lead by example here, because that's what I do. So I just went up and with the queue, particularly now with the queue of people outside the co-op, you know, with their masks and 2 meters distance and all the rest of it. So I'm just like, hi, good morning, and I'll go over to the beds and I'll pick some of the cabbage leaves, and I just stand there in the queue eating the leaves. And then I'll go, people are looking, and I'll go, oh, this is delicious. And they go, well, what's that? And I'm like, well, it's cabbage. It's fresh spring cabbage. It's gorgeous. Well, why are you eating it? Well, because it's for everybody. Is it? I didn't know what it was for. Help yourself. You know, so you've got to lead by example, and we've got to almost retrain people to think outside of the box, take off the blinkers and go, look how amazing the world really is. Look what we can do. And so things like this and ideas like that, the little things that we can do in areas, scrubland, or buy shops, or speak to the council. Can we have, you know, maybe 8 foot by 8 foot? We can build these beds. We can get people involved. We can get excited about it. We can make signs for it. Who wants to be involved in it? Who can do this? Who can do that? And just get people to come and, you know, pick the parsley and eat it because it freshens your breath, and it's good for you because it's fresh. You know, stuff like that. And people who maybe who can't afford to eat, say, come and help yourself. There's free food here. And they do it all over the world now. I've seen it done in America along the sides of the road. And I think it's just such a wonderful thing to do. So we can all do our little bit to inspire each other to do it, and then bring it into the homes, bring it into the schools. And you know, with the education, that doesn't necessarily mean homeschooling, because there will be parents who are, oh, well, I can't afford to do this because I have to work and that's fine. So how about collectively, and we can put ads out on Facebook, just a little caption, who as a parent has the facilities to, you know, help maybe one day a week with children in this area. So maybe a different location for each day of the week for the children. You know, one day they could do like in the garden and making things, and that person could help with that. And obviously, you know, they have to fill out the criteria and maybe have a, you know, a teaching assistant or something working with them, health and safety and all of that kind of thing. Then the next day, how about, oh, baking? So somebody who's got a nice kitchen, how about baking stuff? And maybe they can bring an ingredient each, so the person who's facilitating isn't have to forking out. And then the next day, arts and crafts, somebody who loves arts and crafts and painting and making things out of nothing, making stuff out of recycling. And then somebody else who's good with DIY and maybe carpentry, how about doing this, you know, starting at the basics and then building their way up. Children who are older, showing the little ones how to do it and show, this is what I made and this is how you can start, you know, empowering each other. And then maybe on the 5th day, you know, how about some fun exercises and, you know, jumping on a trampoline or skipping around, or who wants to do this, or invent your own game, or putting on some tunes and inventing your own funky dance. It doesn't have to fit into anybody else's because we each dance in a different weird way, you know, stuff like that. I don't know, that's just come out of my head. I channel all the time. So just some ideas.
Yeah, thank you, Natasha. Well, I could go. We could go on for hours and hours. Let's do a follow up about this, because this is, I mean, it's the, you know, it starts with the kids. So I think this is one of the major things that's not being looked at the moment, because we're more focused on what the media is showing us. So, you know, this is one of the systems that we really need to change. So so let's do another part 2 or something, or maybe even more than that. But yeah, so how do people find you? And also, Carissa, are you going to set up a homeschool program for people? Because I
definitely, I'm going to, within my community, definitely start with that. And eventually, I don't know, I have big dreams. I've always been a dreamer, but eventually I'm thinking some sort of collaborative school. I see a collaboration happening. And I was also toying with maybe helping other moms who are going to be homeschooling for the first time and offering them some ideas. I don't know.
Yeah. And I also want to mention, I mean, I can imagine, I mean, I don't have kids, but I can imagine that some parents would be hesitant to take their kids out of school for the fear of what their families would say, or their neighbors would say, or you know, the teachers would say, you know, if they're living in a small community. So I just want to say, you know, it doesn't matter what other people say. Your kids come first. The children should always come first, regardless of what your mum says, or your sister, or your wife, or your brother, or the teacher, or whoever, the nurse down the road. Or it doesn't matter what they say, what they think, it doesn't matter. What matters is your kids. So always put your kids first. And what else did I need to say? Yeah. So do you want to share your details yet then, Carissa, with people on if they're interested in, do you want people to email you yet, or is that on hold?
I think that's on hold. I mean, if anyone wants to find me, I'm on Facebook, just my name, Carissa Roe. My email is the same, carissatroe@gmail.com. Other than that, I don't have anything to promote or to sell. I'm just so grateful. I don't know how much I contributed today, but I learned so much, and I'm so grateful to have connected with both of you. And moving forward, I would love to help other people. I'm just not sure if I'm there yet. I'm still I'm a teacher, but right now I'm a student.
You know what, Carissa, honestly, everything's perfect, and now is time. So start where you are and lead by example. Just do your thing, because I promise you, other mothers, other teachers will look for somebody else to take the lead. And like dominoes, literally, you know, just start where you're at, offer what you can, put it out there, and share on social media what you're doing. Share, you know, what feedback you're getting. You're a teacher already, you know, so other teachers will look and go, oh my gosh, look what she's doing, this is amazing, maybe we could collaborate together. I live close to her, maybe we could take it in turns, maybe we could, because actually when you do things like that, you could all have more time off and all do what you love and all add value to the children and all add value to the parents, and hence everybody wins. Win, win, win. So start where you're at. Don't say it's on hold. No, it's not on hold. Now is time, and everything is changing. This time next year, there won't be an education system as we know it. It will be your education system. We'll be rolling it out all over the world. So my darling, beautiful sister, just start now.
Thank you.
And, you know, you could open that up, Natasha, as well, for anyone listening that wants to start this thing that they're thinking about, whatever it is. And it's so beautiful what you said to Carissa, because that's exactly where we're at the moment. And even with myself, I was wondering, well, should I start this spiritual center now? Like, I don't have the money to do it. I don't have this, I don't have that. But what better time, what more important time than now? Because now is when we need to step forward and take action. And your cat is beautiful.
Thank you.
We need to step forward and take action, and not wait for someone else to come and save us, because there is no one coming to save us. And yes, we
are here to save us.
The savior. Okay.
We are the ones we've been waiting for.
I love that. Yeah, we are here to save ourselves. Absolutely, 100%. And you know what? Just start where you're at, because now is all we have. Right now is all we have. And you say you haven't got this and you haven't got that. So how about turning that on its head? What have you got? Who can you connect with? Crowdfunding, you know, who wants to contribute? People want to be part of this beautiful thing. Everybody's waking up now. This is a trigger that these people have been waiting for. This is waking people up. This is giving people the courage to say, I'd like to be in. I'm in. How can I help? What can I do? You know, and I tell you what, you put it on Facebook, you put it out there, and you just say, we've had this beautiful idea. We really want to create this, and we really want to create not just one, but many. This would be our flagship, and this is what we want to do. I've always been into environmentally friendly products. I've always been into recycling, sustainable living, living off grid, unplugging, definitely recharging and energize. I mean, that's one of my Facebook pages, is unplug, recharge and energize. And so I think that goes right across the board with all of us. You know, I'm a connector. I've got so many connections. I'm in property as well. So, you know, I know a little bit about a few things. And if I don't know the answer, I have loads of beautiful people in my soul family who have the answers. You know, we absolutely can do this. We are doing this, and we've got to start, you know, standing in our power and saying, listen, this is what we want. Who's in? Who wants to be part of this beautiful creation where everybody benefits, where, you know, our children are empowered, and we are empowered. I mean, my God, our children are born, and within seconds of them being born, they are jabbed with their first vaccine. If I'd have known that way back when my children were born, I would say no to it all. I would say no to it all. So what we've got to do is help them, you know, get rid of all of the heavy metals that are in their bodies, and eat clean, and, you know, have, you know, clean our own water, bless our own water. I mean, we did a round table last week, no, 2 weeks ago, about the power of water and the work of Dr. Emoto. Bless your water. And it changes the molecular structure. Water is historical. Water is ancient. It's sacred. You think about the water you drink. How many bodies has that water been through? How many, you know, rocks has it been filtered through? How many countries has it been through? I mean, you know, these are our sacred structures, our earth, our sun, our water. You know, this is amazing. So we absolutely are on the button here. And you know, we are the way showers. I won't say leaders, but we kind of are, but we are the way showers. You know, we're holding our lanterns really, really brightly, because that's our job. That's why we've incarnated at this time. And thank goodness that we are finding our voices and discovering who we are. I just keep walking forward and I have no idea where the next step's going to take me, but I have faith and I trust in the process of life, and I know the universe has got my back, and everything is perfect, absolutely perfect. So yeah, let's have a follow-up. Let's maybe keep doing another one, maybe every couple of weeks. I don't know how you're feeling about it, but I would love to be part of it. Yeah, definitely. You know, for anybody who wants to find me, it's Natasha Aylott on Facebook. Get Blissed is my business page on Facebook, and you can reach me at natasha@getblissed.co.uk. So thank you so much for inviting me, and it's beautiful to meet you, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous goddesses.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you for connecting us, Carol. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I could talk to you for hours, and thank you so much, Natasha. You know, whenever I do these talks or I'm part of them, whether I'm hosting it or not, you know, there's just a feeling of love, that is so beautiful. It's just so beautiful, and it's just amazing to be able to be. It's amazing to be here on Earth at this time. And Paula had a dream that she was talking about recently, where she's walking along her path, and the sun's shining on her, and she's connected to Source, and there's all this stuff where she's walking along the road or the path or the lane. There's all these buildings falling away, everything's crumbling down around her, and she's just walking in her light, in her truth, in her God Source, in who she is as a child of God, and she's just walking forward and letting everything fall away. And that's such a beautiful description that she gave when she was talking about it. It was a dream that she had, or I think it was a dream. So yeah, and I think that's what we need to do, is keep walking forward and let things go, and not play into what we're being fed, not play into the COVID or the riots if they're still going on, or any play that is designed to distract us, because it's a big pandemic. So it's about taking back our power, taking back our sovereignty, taking back our voices, taking back our truth, discovering who we are, and igniting that light within us, that God Source. So with that said, I'm going to stop there, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I love you guys, and I shall see you very soon. And let's organize something. So bye for now. My love to everyone.
So much. Love you.
Thank you both.
Bye.